Hello folks, did you fail the Taurus Cup and want to get good for Gemini Cup? Here are some major pointers and facts you will need while preparing for the next champions meeting. First off, the specs of the racetrack. Since this is a long race and one of the longest tracks in the game, you will not be able to train enough wit to activate all those yellow and blue skills. This makes the green skills way more important this time around since they are always active if it matches the track settings. So here's the green skills we need for the Gemini Cup. And how do we get hints for these? By using parents with white sparks from first place wins in specific GO1 tracks, or by using specific support cards. The important ones are Kyoto and Standard, which gives another 40 or 60 stamina, and Right-handed and Spring, which gives 40 or 60 speed. Firm is nice to have since it gives power, and here are the G1 white sparks that give these hints. Between the two Kyoto races that occur on the same date, Kikukasho gives extra stamina while the other one gives more wit. And here's all the data I talked about in one screen. Go ahead and take a screenshot or something and keep this around as reference while you train up your ace and parents. And speaking of aces, which 3 trainees should you bring to the race? Well, there are commonly 2 team types. Type A, which has 1 ace and 2 debuffers, and Type B, which has 2 ace and 1 debuffer. I think Type B is better overall since it gives you 2 aces, and if one of them gets hit with a awful mood, you still have the other one that can have a chance. And 1 debuffer is all you need, which I'll talk about later. For your ace, the strongest one is Narita Taishin because she has 2 incredibly strong skills for this race: Sleeping Lion and Encroaching Shadows. The best skill in Gemini Cup is Straightaway Spurt, and the upgraded version is Encroaching Shadows. Why is this the most important skill? Let's look at the actual track we'll be running on. Straightaway Spurt can activate anytime during late race, and there's over 1,000 meters of the track that is considered late race, so a third of the track is during the Straightaway Spurt window. This gives your runner a lot more time to accelerate and maintain max speed. Lots of other acceleration skills like Red Shift does not activate until the final corner or even later, which is a lot less distance for them to ramp up to top speed. This is why end closers are the meta for Gemini Cup. Now back to Narita Taishin and her other skill, Sleeping Lion. This is basically another golden blue skill to recover stamina with very easy activation, and you want 2 golden blue skills for your ace with over 1,000 stamina in this race. The second skill that everyone will be using is Swinging Maestro from Super Creek. By the way, always get corner recovery and do not get straightaway recovery because straightaway is useless if RNG makes it activate at the first or last straight in the race. If it procs at the beginning, you won't have enough stamina loss to make full use of the skill. And if it procs at the final straight, then it will be during the last spurt window where you cannot actually recover stamina, making it a 100% waste of an activation. So long story short, do not get straightaway recovery. Anyways, back to the ace. So this is why Narita Taishin is a very strong choice because of her 2 skills. Another great trainee for Gemini Cup is our lovable Gold Ship. Even though Goshi does not have Encroaching Lion, he does have Go Home Specialist, which can take care of the second golden blue skill requirements. Why do we want 2 gold blue skills? Because that gives us over 90% chance to activate at least one of them during the race, giving you enough stamina to last until the final spurt. And here's what some of the estimate calculations look like. Since we want speed and stam, we will not be able to train wit so much, so most trainees will end up with 300 wit in this case. And other useful yellow skills to grab are what you see now. They will be effective regardless of when they activate, so grab as many of these as you can, but still prioritize the green skills and stamina skills first. Other decent picks for aces are Special Week, Oguri Cap, Daiwa Scarlet, Agnes Tachyon, and Super Creek as pace chasers, with Gormon and Swinging Maestro. But since every account has Goshi as a starter, use him instead. And if your Narita Taishin is not at potential 5, that means no Encroaching Shadow, making Goshi a better choice since they both will be stuck with Straightaway Spurt like everyone else. And here are the general stat spread you want on your final racers. These are just minimum suggestions, obviously the higher the better. And the most important 2 is going to be speed and stamina. You want at least 1,000, but try to get 1,200 if you can. And you also want at least 400 guts to compete in the last spurt, and then at least 300 wit to comfortably activate your skills. Don't worry too much about the power and guts requirement. you'll most likely meet that requirement just by training speed and stamina. And here are the support cards I recommend. Go with 3 speed, 3 stam, or even a 4 speed, 2 stam if your Uma has high affinity to stamina. And here are the recommended cards. Kita's Black because obviously she's top tier. Super Creek for her swinging maestro is pretty much required. Manhattan Cafe has good support skills and just very good stats in general. Sweet Tosho for Lone Wolf. And Narita Taishin or Gold Ship to give you more encloser and stamina skills. Now for your debuffer. One choice will be another Evil Nature with a bunch of speed and stamina down debuffs that can activate without depending on her being close to the pack. You can even use your Evil Nature from the Taurus Cup. But you can also bring in the dark horse of this event, Haru Urara. You might ask, why are we using Urara in a long race? Well, her role is to debuff others and to specifically sabotage Narita Taishin. That's right, want to stick it to the whales or lucky players that got Narita Taishin? Then use Urara. How does this work though? Well, bringing Urara will stop Narita Taishin from using her Sleeping Lion skill. That's because one of the requirements to activate Sleeping Lion is for her to be near the end of the pack, distance-wise. But with Urara running so far behind, Narita Taishin ends up being around the middle of the pack in terms of distance and will not be able to activate Sleeping Lion. And you can raise your Urara with a bunch of debuff skills and do the same thing that Evil Nature does, minus a few specific debuffs on medium track. Here's what mines look like right now. I would try to get her main stats even lower so she falls farther behind, but I do need them to be high enough so she stays alive in the career for me to keep pumping with. And when training your Umas, there's a compatibility calculator on Game Tora that lets you plan out parents and grandparents for a double circle affinity, but that would make this video too long for a quick guide. The calculator is not too hard to use to see which horses are compatible, but do not fret if your affinity is only a single circle. As long as it's not a triangle, you are fine. Now let's summarize what we covered. We went over the most important skills to have for this race. The green skills are really important since it will be hard having enough wit to activate all the blue and yellow skills. And here's a snapshot of all the support cards and G1 sparks that carry over the important green skills. We also went over strong trainees to run in this race. Narita Taishin and Gold Chip are the strongest 2 picks. And there's a bunch of pace chasers that can be decent runner-ups in case your main gets hit with the awful mood. And you should have an Evil Nature or a Haru Urara debuffer in the 3rd slot to stomp out all the Narita Taishin havers. No, I'm not jealous since I don't care too much about Narita Taishin. Maruzenski is the best horse, and I can't wait to have her summer version released in October. Anyways, that's about it for my guide to the Gemini Cup. Thanks for watching, and as always, have fun out there, trainer.